let's turn it over to Scott for a special report on the state of education in America. Scott?
Thanks, Cyrus. Now, for starters, classrooms just aren't safe anymore. Back in the day, we had to worry about the rogue bully who went too far and knifed a kid, but now we have to worry about those nerdy losers, too. I mean, if the Breakfast Club took place today, it would have ended up like Columbine.
What exactly do you mean by that?
Well, instead of a happy ending, it would have ended with Anthony Michael Hall posting some rant on YouTube about how girls only date assholes, and then he'd grab his father's gun and shoot up the school.
That's very disturbing. How do you deal with students that have the potential to be violent?
It's simple, Cyrus. If you see a student with a bad haircut, dead eyes, and no friends, you make sure you're his favorite teacher.
How exactly are you best friends with a student who's a sociopath?
You know, it's about doing the little things. I make sure my classroom is a place where no one makes fun of him about that one time he peed his pants during his clarinet solo. If he's having problems with the ladies, I'll pull him aside and tell him Miss Franklin likes to fuck boys his age. I'll even buy him new clothes. Hey, buddy, these are called Abercrombie. If you wear these, a lot of your problems are going to go away, and hell, you might even get a girl your own age.
I could see a new pair of Jordans really turning around a kid's day.
Whoa, Cyrus. You never buy him shoes. All right, bullies love to steal shoes. If you get one of these losers a pair of Jordans, they're definitely getting jumped. And later that night, when they're putting on their mother's dress and makeup to cover the bruises, you're back on his kill list.
I can't blame you for wanting to buddy up with one of these psycho kids. I mean, after a school shooting, you don't want to be the kid with the memorial. You don't want to be the teacher with the memorial. You want to be the teacher crying about the guy with the memorial.
Yeah, that's the truth. The other problem with our nation's school system is standardized testing. I mean, it's the end-all be-all. Student test scores determine how budgets are allocated to schools, and in some cases, they even determine how teachers get paid.
Wow. It sounds like we're putting a lot of emphasis on these test scores. Do you feel like they really capture how smart the students are?
Fuck no. They're standardized tests. They have a huge bias towards upper-class white children. Just take a look at this test question. Your mother, Betty, who is 130 pounds, serves you breakfast before she heads to her yoga class. You approach the kitchen at a velocity of 2 meters per second and choose which of the following cereals. A, Cheerios, B, gluten-free whole grain bites only found at Whole Foods, or C, you don't get a breakfast.
That's a ridiculous question.
Trust me, I know. Why don't you try answering it?
I don't know. A, Cheerios?
Wrong. The correct answer is B, gluten-free whole grain bites. And since you just answered A, like a poverty-stricken loser, your school just got its budgets cut.
That's ridiculous. Why are we giving more money to these kids who can afford gluten-free cereals? That's absurd.
Yeah, that is a great question. I mean, allocating money to kids with trust funds makes little to no sense. I mean, these kids are set for life. Many of these kids don't even need to stay in school. They just have to stay in their father's will. The money would be much better spent on after-school programs for at-risk youth, or at the very least on binders that are bulletproof for these students.
That's a great idea. Bulletproof binder vests. Sounds like a growth industry. I should really invest in that company. You mentioned earlier that teachers' compensation is actually tied to test scores. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah, in some states, teacher pay is directly tied to standardized test results, which I think is unfair. I mean, some kids are just dumb. Let's face it, they're never going to do well on these tests. Look, it's not my fault Jimmy lost the genetic lottery and got the stupid brain. I'm sorry, but if your mom fucked a guy with a neck tattoo that says, "Don't never give up," you're probably not going to be the next Aristotle, and I don't think that I should be punished for that.
Do you find that having your pay tied to how you teach affects your teaching style?
Hell yeah. I'm not running a charity over here, Cyrus. I want that test bonus because Daddy needs a new Hyundai Sonata. And to get that test bonus, I focus most of my effort on teaching the smartest kids in the class in hopes that their test scores will offset the dumb kids who inevitably are going to drop out and focus on some shitty mixtape and probably end up working at El Pollo Loco. I call this trickle-down teaching.
That's a very interesting teaching style. How does that work out for you?
It goes about as well as trickle-down economics. You know, the smart get smarter, the dumb get dumber, but I don't give a fuck because I still get paid. I'm basically like Ronald Reagan.
Don't you feel like you're shortchanging your students in that by not giving them your all 100% of the time?
Look, Cyrus, I'm only one man. You can't give me a kitchen with no fryer, a broken oven, some dull knives, and expect a 3-star Michelin dining experience. I'm doing the best I can with what I've got. I mean, sure, maybe I'm putting out fast food, but you know what? Fast food is pretty great at 2 in the morning when you're drunk, and let's face it, drunk is how I like to be when I grade papers.
Sounds like school day sucks. Thanks for the update, Scott.